What's going on, guys? Jim the Game Guru, your video game and board game nerd. Yesterday I had a giveaway for Star Realms Frontier, and congratulations, Simona S. You have won this game. I will have this out to you shortly. For those of you that did not win in the giveaway, I do have many other giveaways coming down in the future on board games and video game stuff, so keep an eye out on those. I will have some more video games later on this month, as well as coming into the next month. And then there's also this right here for anybody who's into video games with Switch, especially Switch items. Super Smash Brothers Ultimate for the Nintendo Switch. I'll be giving this away in a giveaway very soon, sometime. Not sure when. Could be at the end of February, early March or something. Okay, let's get into today's game, which is The Crew. There you go, The Crew, an amazing trick-taking game. Awesome artwork. Very simplistic game to play. This game involves missions and playing cooperatively with the other players. You have all the players together play as a commander and the crew of the ship, and you have several different missions. Yes, there's about 50 of them, and you go in order from each mission, all the way from 1 to 50, satisfying tasks and winning tricks based on the tasks. The one challenge with this game is that you need to play with players that completely understand trick-taking games. When I say completely understand, I mean people that know how to manipulate the game, know how to win tricks at the right time, know when to lay off in order to manipulate the way the cards can be won by certain people. You can't just blindly win tricks in this game. There actually has to be some control in the game so that certain people win tricks to satisfy certain tasks in order to win the missions. So let's dig in. I'll show you the components. I'll do a quick overview really quick of how the game is played. All right, let's dive into The Crew, the trick-taking game. First thing I'm going to show you is the rule book, which is actually completely magazine quality, great quality manual, very well done. It is kind of weird because instead of having like a sequential read, there's two sides to the manual. There's this front part which kind of tells you the components and what each card means and kind of like how you play the game. It just shows you like, okay, these are the players and this is how certain cards are distributed. And under certain tasks, this tells you like about the distress signal, which I'll get to in a second. It tells you about tasks, communication. So this one side of the manual does a really good job of telling you exactly how to play. Now, if you keep flipping through it, you're eventually going to get to a point where it's upside down. It's because the other half of the manual is this way. And this side of the manual is the missions. Now they have this little section here as far as this part of the sleeve where you can actually write down the crew members, and you can pencil in like your start and your finish and how many attempts it took you to get through all of the missions. I don't really feel like this part's necessary. I mean, I guess you can use like a pen and pad as well somewhere to do that, but if you're really hardcore and you really want to keep up with that, fine. I think it's as long as you know what mission you left off the last time you played, then you just continue to play. This game is about the experience and getting through the missions. So here what it does is it starts off with all the way from mission 1, and it kind of continues all the way through. And each mission, it tells you the criteria of what cards you can win with, whether or not there's communication available, what cards cannot win a trick. Sometimes you'll have ones where you can't win with a 9, you can't, or maybe there's one that you have to win with a 1. Then it tells you like the tasks that are involved in each of the missions. If there's certain criteria with the commander, let's see. Oh, this one's actually pretty hard. This one you have to win only one trick with the rocket cards. And I'll explain the rocket cards here in a second. But as you go up, as you can see, there's all these missions that go all the way from 1 to the 50th mission, which has a couple of very difficult conditions. So that's the manual. Very well done. Pretty thick. But I love how they put this whole new spin on trick taking with these missions. Now let's go ahead and go over here to the player board. I'm not going to actually go through a full game because it's trick taking. And it's a very simple concept. Basically what you do is you play a card of the same suit unless you don't have it. And if you don't have it, then you can lay off or you can play a trump card. So in the center, so here we have 4 people that I've dealt cards to. And each one of these, let's go over the cards here. So I'm going to go over this cards. So there's 4 different types of suits. And I guess in this game, it's more like the colors. So you have like this orange color, you have the pink color, you have the green color, you have the blue color. And then there's also one different suit, which are rocket cards. Rocket cards are the trump in the game. They are like the master trump in the game. Anytime somebody leads off with a card, whether like I said, if I let off with a 6 orange card or yellow, whatever you want to call the color, then other people would have to actually put down the same type of suit. And the only thing that's like really the master trump, so the highest of the suit wins, and the master trump obviously beats everything. The highest being the 4 of rocket. So you have the main deck that you distribute all the players' hands, right? And each person will get a hand something like this. And as you can kind of see with other people, so this guy right here, he has the 4 rocket, which is the highest trump. Anybody that has a 4 rocket is usually the commander, so they will get the commander token right here. So this person will get the commander token. There are certain conditions on certain missions of the commander. The commander also goes first, usually, in most of the missions. So you have the main deck that people get the cards for their hands. And then you have like this little mini deck. And this little mini deck will represent a lot of the cards that are in the main player hand deck. And these cards in this mini deck represent cards that you put down in the middle here for your tasks. So missions will have tasks, and they'll tell you in the mission how many task cards are there. And what happens is that each person will end up getting a task card like this. So like maybe this person will get the 4, this person will get the 8, this person will get the 9, this person will get the 3. Depending on how good their hands are, they may want certain cards over, like somebody like this person may not want the 8, they may want the 3 instead because they feel like their hand is in a better spot to win that as a task during the mission. There's also these little tokens here too that come with the game. And these little tokens here represent conditions for the task. So let's say, so here we got these ones that have single to quadruple arrows. We have the ones that go through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then you have I think it's called the omega symbol. And this one, it means that this particular task needs to be last. And so let me show you exactly what I mean here. All right, so let's say we had a 1 here for the 4, right? And let's say we had a, where's the single arrow? We had a single arrow, and then we had a double arrow, right? And then let's say we had the omega at the very end, right? So what this means is that this 4 has to be in a winning trick before any of these other cards are in a trick. So if any of these other cards are in a winning trick before this 4, the mission is over. You lose the mission. So these little tokens serve as kind of task order in order to solve the mission. Once you get all of the task cards and you get them in the correct order, you end up winning the mission. It's over. The mission is won. It doesn't matter if you have cards left in your hand to play. The mission is over. You won. So just put your cards down, reshuffle, and begin the next mission. So this means that this card would have to be won first, and the first winning not the first winning trick, any trick that's won before any of these cards are in a trick. Then you have this single arrow, which means that this single arrow needs to be before any of the double, triple, or quadruple arrows. So I cannot. So let's say if somebody has a 4 in their winning hand, I cannot win. This 8 cannot be in a winning trick before the 3. So the 3 would have to be next, and then the 8, and then the very last, because this has the Omega, which means that this card has to be the last card in a winning trick out of all of these. So all of these other cards need to be won first before this card could then be won. I believe you are allowed to have multiple task cards in the same winning trick without failing. So let's say the 8 and the 9. So let's say the 8 so let's say these 2 cards were won already, right? And then somebody threw off. And then somebody threw down a pink 9, and then somebody threw off a blue 8 into the winning trick of the pink 9. I believe that still counts legal because the 8 is still in that trick, and it's kind of like you can count that 8 being before the 9 because it's in the same trick. If I'm not mistaken, I can't remember. I'd have to dig through the rules. But as long as it's in the same trick, or you've satisfied them in a winning hand before that particular task, then you're okay. Now you see these other cards over here. These cards have like nothing in them, right? They have like they're just plain Jane kind of with the moon. These are cards to help you remember that you have another card in your hand, and they are used when you are communicating. So I don't need this 5th one because this is only a 4-player game. So each player would end up having one of these cards on their side down there somewhere, right? And these are the communication chips. These ones right here. These nice little helmet tokens. These tokens will actually allow you to communicate with your teammates. You cannot talk in this game. There is no talking. You can't say, yo, dude, you throw down that card because I have this and I know you have that, so you go ahead and throw that. There's no table talking in this game whatsoever. The only way you can communicate is with this communication token. That's what makes this game challenging, because if you're able to just blabber the entire time, this game would be easy, right? And what makes it hard is that you can't communicate, and people need to read hands, they need to read tricks, they need to know what cards are played before they play their next card to satisfy the mission tasks, right? But there is one way that you can communicate. So let's take a look at this guy's hand right here. All right, so I may want to communicate, unless a mission there are missions that have conditions that you're not allowed to communicate at all. But as long as they don't have that condition, then you can communicate. So this person only has this green 2, right? I can say, you know what? I'm going to communicate. I will pull this card out. I will put it down on the table for everyone to see. And then I will flip my token from red to green, right? And I will put it right in the middle of that card. If you put it in the middle of the card, you're telling everybody, hey, this is the only card of this suit that I have, okay? If you put it on the very top, that means it's the highest card of that suit. And if you put it on the bottom of the card, you're telling everyone that is the lowest card of that suit. And once you put down your card and you put your communication token on there, then you pick up this reminder card and you stick it into your hand. And the reason why you do that is so that way you don't forget, because you could be playing tricks and completely forget that you have the card down here. And then at the very end of the game, you're like, damn it, I misplayed that one trick because I forgot I had the card down here. So the easiest way to not forget that you have a card down is to put your reminder card back in there. That's why it's in the game. So now I have a reminder card, so now I'm looking at my stuff, and I know I still have that green 2 in my hand. as the cards are being played. So there you go. So you have communication, you have the communication token, you have your task, which will be kind of, different people will have this. So like this person could have the 4, maybe this person will have the 3, and this person will have the 8 over here, and this person will have the 9. As long as those particular people that have those tasks win the tricks, and that's the other thing you got to keep in mind, is not just the order of the tasks that need to be won, but if this person has the 8, and this person has the 4 with the 1 on it, this person with the 4 and the 1 has to win the 4 first before any of these other 3 cards get won. Then this person over here with the 3 has to win the next trick, this next card before these 2 cards in any of the future tricks. Then next, this person over here would have to win the 8 card in there. And then finally, this person over here with the Omega and the 9 would have to win the 9 in their trick, to win the mission. So that is the order. Those are the people that need to win the tasks. Then you have your communication. Then you have your reminder cards in here. And then the person that's the commander goes first. Really easy. Hey, he's the commander. Oh, well, look, he's got, the 4. So he has to go first. Now he gets to choose any card he wants to lay down. If he wants to communicate, he can pull a card out, put it down, put the reminder card into his hand, and communicate something. Like this person, I don't know what I would communicate with. You could communicate anytime during the mission, but I probably wouldn't communicate anything right away. Unless I wanted to tell everybody, hey, this is the only trump card I have, and it's the freaking rocket. I could do that. I could pull this out and say, hey, that's the only card I got. It's the Omega powerful rocket card. But I wouldn't have to do that because I'm going first. So people know that I already have the 4 since I'm going first. So instead, maybe what I would do is I would probably do the 5. I'd probably do the 5 because it's the only 5 card I have. Stick it on there, put that in the middle. Now I'm telling everybody, hey, that's the only 5. That's the only pink card I have. Okay? And then other people can do the same thing. They can communicate as well. This token right here is called a distress signal. And what happens is in the very beginning of the game, if you want to use distress signal, so this signal is down like this, inactive, right? It's either like this or like this. I can't remember how it starts off, but one of them is active, one of them is inactive. And what happens is you can use this once at the very beginning of the game, unless a mission tells you cannot. And if everyone in the party feels like they have a shitty hand and they're like, oh man, this is gonna be really rough, you can use a distress signal once to pass 1 card from your hand to your teammate on the left and all the way around, and hopefully that will change the outcome of some hands. Maybe not. Maybe it'll make them worse. Who knows? But that's how you play the game. It's really simple. You have the tasks for the missions. You win them in the correct order. And the people with those task cards have to be the ones that win those cards in their tricks. And as long as you complete every single task, you win the mission. And then you go to the next mission. These task symbols are not going to be the only thing that are conditions of missions. Some missions might say, hey, you need to win 2 tricks with a 1 of one of the suits, or you cannot win a trick with a 9 at all. So it'll tell you on what criteria in the missions that you need to follow in order to win. And then there's another mission that said all the rocket cards need to be in one hand. So that's how the game becomes very challenging. It puts you in these situations where you need to satisfy criteria when you're winning these tricks. But yeah, that's pretty much it. This is The Crew, the trick-taking game, where you're on missions and you're playing this cooperatively with people. Fantastic game. Anyway, guys, I will see you later. I'm Jim, the Game Guru, your video game and board game nerd. Please consider subscribing, and I'll see you later. Bye.